Man, I need something new to obsess over. That'll work. I'm pretty sure that we have all been in a situation where people we are conversing with starts to talk about musicians or bands they like, and of course the question turns to you. But you don't know what to say because you don't even know yourself, and then you start debating if you should lie because it's getting kind of awkward. Yeah, I've been there. That was me up until 2 years ago when I stumbled upon a raunchy musical comedy band that would not only grab me by the neck and not let me go, but would also become my favorite band of all time. If you have been on the internet for as long as I have, or you're familiar with a certain popular Let's Play channel, you might know about a band that consists of two middle-aged men dressed in spandex and a ninja costume, and their singular goal to take your body sweetly by the hand and then rock its face off with amazing music. I'm talking about Ninja Sex Party. This band has consumed my mind, and it's time for me to rant my heart's desires and host, and I will indoctrinate, convince someone to listen to them. So get comfortable as I take you on a magical ride and tell you all my thoughts on my favorite band, Ninja Sex Party. For those of you who have never heard of Ninja Sex Party, you're in luck because I'm about to tell you a brief history of the band. Ninja Sex Party was formed back in February of 2009. The members consist of lead singer Dan Avedon, who is also known for his role in Game Grumps, and pianist and theoretical physicist Dr. Brian Wecht. He has a PhD. Throughout the years, the band has gained popularity through their music videos on YouTube, reaching 1.3 million subscribers and over 322 million views. The duo perform as their personas, Danny Sexbang, the flamboyant and horny Jewish superhero, and Ninja Brian, who is nonverbal and homicidal. Their music consists of rock, pop, and synth, and is accompanied by their explicit comedic lyrics that range from over-the-top romantic gestures to random adventures. In the past 15 years, they have released over 11 albums, which includes originals and covers. NSP has also collaborated with many artists such as the Canadian band TWRP and even the Australian comedy musician Tom Cardy. The duo also have separate music projects that expand their musical endeavors, and they have even come together with the host of Game Grumps, Aaron Hansen, to form the hip-hop video game parody band Starbomb. More of that in another video. To this day, Ninja Sex Party continues to grow musically and creatively, humoring their audience and, of course, providing fun and sensual entertainment. Now that I gave you a brief introduction to Ninja Sex Party, let's get into the nitty-gritty of things. The goods, the music, and the comedy. As I mentioned before, the band, or shall I say the characters, get into many musical shenanigans like saving the future of the earth from becoming boring and sexless. But, out of the two, I think it might be obvious which character is my favorite. Ninja Brian. Alright, it's time to be real. I am an official member of the Ninja Brian Enthusiast fan club, and I am not afraid to hide it anymore. How could you hate this guy? I mean, look at him.
Such a beauty.
Now I'm sure you're wondering how I feel about their music. Obviously I love it, but that's not enough to satisfy my reasons to make this video. To me, their music is unique, and throughout my life listening to various artists, Ninja Sex Party is the one that stands out the most. Granted, that might be because I have grown fond of rock music over the years, and most, if not all, of their songs are inspired by the 70s. And they're just cool like that, alright? I'm just a girl! However, it's not a Ninja Sex Party song without comedy. The perfect way I can describe their comedy is that it can catch you off guard, it's random, and it's stupid. But I like it. Comedy is subjective, that's all I'm gonna say. But for all the mega fans watching this video, I'm pretty sure you're waiting for me to talk about my favorite songs and albums so that we can swap opinions. And I am! Comment below what's your favorite song, I wanna know. I do want to quickly mention that alongside their music, Ninja Sex Party does skits or sketches within their albums, but because I want to focus more on their songs, I just made a tier list of their sketches. So let's talk about the original albums, starting with NSFW, Strawberries and Cream, and Attitude City. With the first three albums, of course, this was the starting point for the band before everything took off. At the time, the music was created with digital instruments and music videos were hilariously low quality. But anyone could tell you that the music videos are charming and attractive to this day. Some might even say nostalgic. However, when we look at the last 3 albums, Cool Patrol, The Prophecy, and These Nuts, there is a huge and significant difference in quality, music, and comedy. Cool Patrol, in my opinion, was the turning point, dare I say the golden album. With their collaboration with TWRP and joining forces with their producer Jim Roach and higher quality music videos, everything just gets better from there. Finally, The Prophecy in These Nuts showcases the increase in quality, but comedy takes more of a mature, relatable, and nonsensical path. Because I like a lot of songs, I'm going to name my top 3 in each album just because I want an excuse to ramble more. So the first album would be NSFW. I love this album with all of my heart, and it contains a lot of songs that I like from their earlier days. But my top 3 songs are 3 Minutes of Ecstasy, If We Were Gay, and Manticore, with the honorable mention of Sex Training. I couldn't help myself, I just like this album. Each of these songs is very special to me. Out of the 3 Minutes of Ecstasy is my favorite just because it's catchy and it's one of the few slow jams that the band has. The other 2 are similar when it comes to catchy tunes, but the Manticore is on here just because he is my favorite. He's just a silly little guy and I miss him so much, I want him to come back. Next is Strawberries and Cream, though it is not my favorite album, mostly because the track list doesn't stand out as much for me, but a few songs I like are Rhinoceratops vs. Super Puma, FYI I Wanna F Your A, and The Sacred Chalice. If I'm completely honest, Rhinoceratops vs. Super Puma has to be my favorite out of the 3. I just like the instrumentals and the vocals of this track. Unfortunately, I feel the song is underrated within the fanbase and was thrown into the depths of obscurity. The other song or songs that got thrown into obscurity would be The Sacred Chalice, which I don't understand why it's in this forbidden pit, and quite frankly, I call justice to this. Although in the album it's listed as part 1, the rest of the parts are on their channel and it's a fun adventure miniseries that I enjoy watching from time to time. Underrated, but I appreciate it for what it is. Then we have Attitude City. Now, I have a weird relationship with this album. I like it, however, when you ask what Attitude City song I like, I'm gonna ask you which version. Most of the Attitude City songs I enjoy are remastered in their Level Up album, and I know how most fans feel about it, but I love Level Up. It got me through hard times. But outside of Level Up, I really like Why I Cry, Peppermint Creams, and Road Trip. The only thing I can say here is harmonies. They tickle my brain. Next is Cool Patrol. As I said before, this is the turning point for Ninja Sex Party. It's one of the albums I do appreciate, and in my opinion, it is one of the best albums amongst the fans. My top 3 songs are Smooth Talking, Orgy for One, and Danny Don't You Know. And before anyone says anything, I am unsure if Smooth Talking is a sketch or a song. I think it could be both, but I see it as a song and it's my favorite off the album, okay? As for Orgy for One and Danny Don't You Know, what's there not to like about these songs? Orgy for One is a really fun song about... yeah. And Danny Don't You Know is an iconic piece, the anthem for NSP. It's an encouraging song about staying true to who you are, even if you are a little weird. Honestly, I wish I had listened to this song in middle school because of how powerful this song is. I adore Danny Don't You Know so much. So we are at my number 1 favorite album, The Prophecy. The Prophecy is the first album I listened to, and it's how I got introduced to Ninja Sex Party in the first place, specifically starting with Welcome to My Parents' House. I just know that after that day I discovered it, I was never the same. There is a strong emotional connection I have with this album, and I deeply appreciate how each song has impacted me and brought me a lot of joy. My top 3 songs are The Mystic Crystal, Do Math With You, and Wondering Tonight. The Mystic Crystal is my all-time favorite NSP song, and it's 12 minutes long. The first time I ever listened to this song, I remember being so enamored by the music, the story, the settings, and the animation. The music video for The Mystic Crystal strongly reminds me of a Disney movie I watched as a kid called Enchanted. Enchanted used a mix of animation and live action in the film. And as a kid, I would love watching the animation sequences and would get excited when the characters would make that transition. So seeing the Disney-like animation style for The Mystic Crystal done by the talented animation team Night of the Light Table, you bet your bottom dollar I was freaking out. Just look at their outfits! Look at the shot! I'm being spoiled! I just love it so much. Everything about this song, just go listen to it if you haven't. Now, Do Math With You is another slow jam that I absolutely love. That also got thrown into the pits of obscurity. There's not even a music video for it. Granted, COVID possibly had a hand in that decision, but I was still robbed. Like, justice for Do Math With You, please. And of course I have to mention Wondering Tonight, the dumb but relatable breakup song. This little ballad was the first time NSP truly caught me off guard with their lyrics, because it goes from a tearful breakup to wondering whose balls Danny Sexbang's ex is gargling, and many other innuendos. But the instrumentals are so extravagant, and honestly, I need an orchestra album. And finally, their most recent and my second favorite album, These Nuts. I know this album just came out a few months ago, but this one was worth the wait. I know there's a lot of mixed opinion on this album, and despite a lot of fair critiques, I still enjoyed this album. The music, the vocals, everything is just delicious. The top 3 songs that just won me over are The Boner of Peace, Behind the Mask, and Get Ready to Get Ready. Something that was unexpected is that I would enjoy The Boner of Peace so much that it was close to topping the Mystic Crystal. I'm still shocked. However, this song weirdly reminds me of worship music, and that's probably why I instantly attached to it. So, good job, Dan and Brian. You made me love a song because I could connect it to my Christian roots. Never thought I'd say that. And I'm going to say this now. For their next tour, if they perform this song, I want everybody in the venue I am at to hold hands while swaying side to side. If that does not happen, I will cause a scene. Behind the Mask is a sweet and chaotic song about Danny Sexbang's and Ninja Brian's friendship. And I mean, you can't blame me. They pulled the friendship is magic card. I'm a sucker for that. And finally, Get Ready to Get Ready goes so hard for no reason. Everything about this song tickles every inch of my brain, and I just have to do something about it.
Yeah, Jeju! Faster! Abandoned warehouse! Pin up feelings! Footloose it!
Overall, out of all of the original albums, personally, I rank them from favorite to least: The Prophecy, These Nuts, NSFW, Added to City, Cool Patrol, and Strawberries and Cream. I also want to briefly mention their remastered album, Level Up, and the very, 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 very classy acoustic album. Alongside The Prophecy, I was introduced to these albums very quickly and I liked them very much. Personally, my favorite Level Up songs are Road Trip, Dragon Slayer, and 6969. And if you're not a fan of the Level Up album, I do get it, since it would feel unnecessary to remake a song, especially if the audience finds the original to be okay. But for me, it makes me more curious on how the band can remake their songs and make it sound more interesting and new. And if they were to do another remastered album, I would back it up. And they did! Masterstrokes! I'm getting concerned with their album names. Although it's not out yet, I will say that this album already got some brownie points because it includes my favorites, and I can't wait to see what they do with it. Now, for the acoustic album, I don't see many people talking about it, but I will say that I do like it, but I don't listen to it as often unless I need music for my downtime or I need a calmer atmosphere. But the songs I tend to listen to are Heartboner, Rocket Man, and Wondering Tonight. These 3 songs translate nicely when it's done acoustically, but I am going to mention this. Thanks to the fans who went to the acoustic concert 2 years ago, I found out that they performed an acoustic version of Welcome to My Parents' House and Orgy for One. I should have gone to the concert. And of course, I quickly want to mention my favorite songs that the band has collaborated with other artists on. There are a lot of songs the band is featured in, but I would have to say that my favorites are The Hit and Built for Love by TWRP and Self-Care Sunday by Flula. All of these songs give the best vibes and are the ones I am very prone to putting on replay for hours. I swear they put up something in these songs. Overall, all of the songs Ninja Sex Party have or are featured in are very enjoyable to listen to, and I can't wait to hear more from them in the near future. Everyone should know about song covers, whether you like them or not. Alongside original music, Dan and Brian have created 3 cover albums, with another one on the way, called Under the Covers, featuring TWRP and others like the Super Guitar Bros. These covers consist of beloved songs from the 70s and 80s and artists like Peter Gabriel and Michael Jackson. Ooh, sorry, they actually won't cover him again for very valid reasons. But there are many more artists to explore. When it comes to music covers, I don't mind listening to them. I was a huge Glee fan a couple years ago, so my tolerance for covers are pretty high. But for all of you unfamiliar listeners, or people who just don't like Ninja Sex Party originals, there are plenty of songs that you might like here. And I want to go over my top favorite songs and quickly express my opinions about each album, as well as the songs I hope NSP will cover someday. So let's start with the first Under the Covers. If I am honest, I am not a huge fan of this album. Of course, I won't be too harsh since this is the first of many, but I think the song selection just doesn't stand out as much compared to the other two albums. I think everyone did well. However, I feel that it was just missing something and I don't even know what it is. And also, I hate the song Jump by Van Halen. And before anyone says anything, it's not the people who covered it who made me hate it. I just don't like the song at all. But my favorite Under the Cover songs are Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd, Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears, and Misunderstanding by Genesis, with the honorable mention of Take On Me by a-ha. All of these songs are just chef's kiss, 10 out of 10s, but I want to quickly mention their cover of Take On Me as it is one of their most iconic covers. If you're an NSP fan, you know about this. This cover was released back in 2016 and was accompanied by a music video, and I could say a lot about this one, but I'm just going to summarize it. It got everybody weak in the knees. There's something about this music video that turns everyone into a hot mess. If you don't believe me, go look into the comment section to that music video. I just know you guys weren't joking. Out of all of their music videos, this one just has a lot of sex appeal for like no good reason. Well, thank goodness that is the only music video that makes fans go feral. Next is Under the Covers 2. This is my all-time favorite album and it's the one that I deeply connected to. Not only is the tracklist good, but everyone performed each song so beautifully. It contains a lot of my favorites that were very hard for me to finalize, but my favorite songs from this album are Rocket Man by Elton John, You Spin Me Round by Dead or Alive, and Something About You by Level 42. Each of these songs are so much fun to listen to, but I won't stress enough how much their cover of Rocket Man means to me. During a really tough time, I would listen to their cover endlessly for comfort. I'm not sure why it helped, but it did, and I am so glad I was able to have something to calm me down. But I will elaborate more on that later. And lastly, we have Under the Covers 3. Compared to the last two albums, this one is just immaculate. The track list, the vocals, the musicality, it's great. I love it. I don't know how to explain it, but it just has a little spice in it, and I want more. The only thing I will say is that I absolutely hate the song Safety Dance by Men Without Hats. Because what even is that song? I don't like the original, I don't even like the Glee cover. However, NSP just did something right with this one to make me feel neutral about it. I think it's their take on the musicality that just makes it a lot better for me. And this is not me being biased, it's me being honest. My favorite songs from Under the Covers 3 are Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel, Glory of Love by Peter Cetera, and I Won't Back Down by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. I want everyone to know that nothing is going to take me away from any of these songs. They are everything to me. Sledgehammer is an absolute masterpiece. Glory of Love is my future wedding song, write it down. And I Won't Back Down is just so good. I just love everything about these covers. So my favorite album covers from favorite to least are Under the Covers 2, 3, and then the first. And I just know that the fourth will be just as amazing when it comes out. And now for the songs I hope NSP will cover one day. I know they have confirmed that they will cover 3 artists in the next album, which are ABBA, Toto, and the Doobie Brothers, but I still think it's fun to speculate or dream of all they could cover before this little adventure ends. Thank you, that is all. When it comes to Under the Covers, I wasn't expecting to fall in love with these albums, and it has expanded my music taste even deeper than before. And sometimes you do want a little break from the comedy and see how far NSP can go with their musical talents. So I am very happy that they are continuing to make covers, and it's always fun to speculate what songs they will cover next, as well as discovering new ones. With a band that expresses sex in a comedic way, it can be hard to understand why fans can connect to the music on an emotional level. Although I can't speak for everyone, I can express why this band means a lot to me and how their music has impacted me. Before I discovered NSP, I was just starting a new chapter in my life that was going to be met with new challenges and a new form of self-discovery. However, a common obstacle I was facing was my constant anxiety and feelings of uncertainty. While I was learning how to overcome my anxiety, I then found out about Ninja Sex Party, and needless to say, it helped me discover a coping mechanism that would become very effective. But later that year, I would enter an extremely tough time due to a family member becoming terminally ill. Now, I am no stranger to death, but this was the first time I experienced death with the knowledge of what is going to happen and knowing there was nothing I could do about it. I am super grateful I had an amazing support system during that tough season. But of course, I knew that I couldn't be supervised 24/7, so in times of anxiety, I would listen to Dan and Brian's music to help calm myself down and even fall asleep some nights. And even though I am not in that place anymore, I still listen to NSP when I need a break from stressful tasks or just to get my mood right. Despite the hard times, I was able to connect with a dumb musical comedy band just because it could make me laugh and smile. And because of this band, I have experienced so much and created fond memories with a lot of people, and I am grateful that I am able to share a little bit of that gratitude with you all. It took me 2 years to be able to make this video, and I am so happy that I can express why this band means a lot to me. And hopefully through my excited rambles and almost making a fool of myself for about 30 minutes, you are able to see that. And I'm for sure not the only fan who feels this way. For the past 15 years, Dan and Brian have given their fans a place of comfort, laughter, and fun, while also being an inspiration for others. Honestly, I want them to go on for 30 more years so I could be a middle-aged woman screeching at 70-year-old men. One thing I hope is that I was able to convince unfamiliar people to listen to at least one song. If not, well, I guess I just have to haunt your dreams. But overall, I want to thank you all for watching this video and listening to what I have to say. I very much appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next video.